Sudanese Doctors Network has also accused the RSF of kidnapping 6 medics, including 4 doctors, a pharmacist, and a nurse, and reportedly demanding ransoms in excess of $150,000 for their release. The city had been the army's last stronghold in the Darfur region and was captured by the RSF after an 18-month siege marked by starvation and heavy bombardment. With the fall of El-Fasher, the UN activists and aid agencies have expressed fear over the fate of the estimated 250,000 people trapped in the city, many from non-Arab communities. Here is how the people of Khartoum feel about the deadly killings.
والله الحظ في الفاشر ده طبعا شغل غير انساني وشيء يعني وحشي. احنا خلينا نشيل لنا اللي حصل انه في الجزيره وفي النادى قلنا بيكون لكن اللي خرج في اسوء ما حصل. وبعدين دي يعني الحياه تشمئز منها الانسان، يعني ده ما بشر. والله احنا نطالب المجتمع الدولي ان تصنف هذه الميليشيا ميليشيا ارهابيه ويمكن اكثر من ارهابيه. ده والله
بتمنى انه المجتمع الدولي ينظر نظرة تأسفية في الوضع اللي بيحصل في الفاشر من إبادات جماعية وتطهير عرقي للمواطنين السودانيين والانتهاكات اللي بتحصل لأخواننا في الفاشر.
الحل الجذري المجتمع كله عارف إنه الدعم السريع أو ميليشيا الدعم السريع انتهكت، اغتصبت، قتلت، جرحت، ويعني على مرأى منه حتى التسجيل ذاته التوثيق ده موثقينه هم ذاتهم، يعني ما التوثيق جاي من محل بعيد او من مكان بعيد او زي ما بيقولوا اي شماعاتهم كلها بقت شنو في الجيش او في القوات المسلحه السودانيه.
Now we move on to our next news. Hundreds of Serbian students began marching from Belgrade into Novi Sad on Thursday to mark the anniversary of last year's railway station. We move on. The main commemoration in Novi has said that will take place on November 1st, featuring 16 minutes of silence, followed by student speeches. Now we move on to Africa. South African Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago has stated that there was no reason to delay a push for lower inflation target to 3%, despite pressure from administered prices and wages. He has said that electricity, water costs, and multi-year wage agreements should not delay the move, saying you cannot wait for them to expire before you set the target. Kganyago has argued that the current 3 to 6% target band is uncompetitive and out of step with international peers, although Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has not formally adopted the lower target. Bond yields have fallen since April, which Kganyago cites as a sign of maintained credibility. Fitch has forecasted that the National Treasury may announce a lower target in the midterm budget on November 12th, even as risks from geopolitical uncertainties remain. Let's listen into what South African Reserve Bank Governor has said.
It is in the system. Some prices have already been set for the next 12 to 18 months. Some have been set over 24 months. There will be wage agreements that are set over 3 years, for example. Those must still work themselves out of the system. But you can't wait for them to expire before you set the target. You set the target such that they know that as their agreements expire, that there is a new target that has been set.
Now we move on to Europe. The European Centrist Bank has kept interest rates unchanged at 2% for the third consecutive meeting, signaling confidence in Europe's low inflation and steady growth despite global trade uncertainty. The ECB, which represents the 20 Eurozone nations, had previously cut rates by a total of 2 percentage points in the year leading up to June, but has since paused, indicating there is no rush to adjust policy, while inflation remains on target. At a press conference, ECB President Christine Lagarde has said that the bank was in a good place, pointing to easing trade tensions after the recent US-China tariff deal announced by President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Let's listen in to what European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde has said.
The Governing Council today decided to keep the three key ECB interest rates unchanged. Inflation remains close to our 2% medium-term target, and our assessment of the inflation outlook is broadly unchanged. The economy has continued to grow despite the challenging global environment. The robust labor market, solid private sector balance sheets, and our past interest rate cuts remain important sources of resilience. However, the outlook is still uncertain, owing particularly to ongoing global trade disputes and geopolitical tensions. The Governing Council today decided to move to the next stage of the digital euro project. This will ensure technical readiness for potential issuance and support Europe's digital sovereignty once legislation has been adopted.
With that, it's a wrap on the newsroom. Keep watching for more news breaking updates.